If you heard the January 9th, 2025 edition of Brandon's World, you knew that I was coming down with a little bit of an illness. And so again, I want to thank Jalen for filling in for me on Tuesday's show. I was just unable to record at all. Actually, during the entire NFL wildcard weekend, all I could really do was eat soup. I had to go to the doctor to get an antibiotic. I had no voice. I was a mess. As you can see, I am back upright. We are recording today. I am going to be giving you my best bets and my money line predictions for the divisional round of the 2024 NFL season slash the 2025 NFL playoffs. We're not going to do revisionist history, of course, since I was not here on Tuesday. I was unable to go over the wild card round, but just to give you a recap on my picks. In the money line, I did pick the Chargers over the Texans. That one's done. I had the Chargers -2.5. I thought Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, that run game of the Chargers would really take over against a Houston Texans team that was struggling offensively. Now, I did pick Baltimore to defeat Pittsburgh. I thought the Steelers would come out with a better fight. It seems like to me it is time for the organization to move on from Mike Tomlin as the Ravens, of course, dispatched the Steelers by 14 points. I did nail Buffalo -8.5. I thought that was a really hard ask for a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix to go into Buffalo there, his first postseason start, and knock off the Bills. I liked my Eagles defeating the Green Bay Packers. That was the one game that I stayed away from over the weekend. I like Tampa to cover the three against Washington. Obviously, Jane Daniels, an incredible drive, the incredible 4th-and-1 run there to end that game. And then the Vikings-Rams game getting moved to Arizona. Rams +1.5. Sam Darnold, as I predicted, once again, just like he did against the Detroit Lions, turned back into a pumpkin. So I went 4-2 in the money line. The games I missed were the Charger game and the Commander game. In best bets, I went 2 for 5. I hit Buffalo and the Rams. I missed the Chargers. I missed Pittsburgh with the points, and I missed Tampa Bay. So, with that in mind, going into the divisional round of the postseason, I am 192-88 in the money line, and I am 55 for 95 this year in best bets. So, we have a grand total of 7 games left of the 2024 NFL season. 4 games in the divisional round, 2 conference championship games, 1 Super Bowl. So, without further ado, 4:30 Saturday. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, CJ Stroud, and the Houston Texans, who could not do anything in the first half against the Chargers until that ball went over the head of CJ Stroud, made that incredible completion, seemed like it completely turned the game around. Justin Herbert, who only had 3 interceptions during the regular season, threw 4 during that game as the Texans defense swallowed up the Charger offense. They're going to have to do the same. We know this is a rematch of Week 16, the game that was on a Saturday in Kansas City, the game where Tank Dell did tear his ACL and MCL and that brutal injury that he suffered. I think the Texans are going to come in here motivated the same way they did come in motivated against the Chargers. It is, excuse me, it is Andy Reid. It is Patrick Mahomes coming off of a bye. I like the Chiefs here. I think the Texans are a nice story. Listen, everybody thought they were the worst team coming into the playoffs, entering the postseason. The way they played and the way they won that crappy AFC South division. They got a nice win against the Chargers, but this Houston Texans franchise has never made the AFC Championship game. I don't think CJ Stroud and the Texans here are the answer. I think the AFC Championship Invitational being back at Arrowhead is the case here. The Chiefs will win the game. Now, This next game, Saturday night on Fox, 8 p.m. with Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi, will determine where the NFC Championship game will take place. Will it take place in either LA or Philly, or will it take place in Detroit as Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders, who have won their last 5 games with less than 6 seconds to go on the clock, they go into Detroit to take on the number one seed in the NFC, Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, who will be getting back great running back David Montgomery, it sounds like, for this game. The interesting component of this game to me is how is Detroit, with 2 weeks to prepare, going to deal with Jaden Daniels? Because Jaden Daniels has been a rare rookie this year in the NFL. What I mean by that is he is getting better as the game progresses. He is a rare rookie that gets better in the fourth quarter. He's better late than early. My other question here is Washington. They have two great defensive tackles up front in Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. Will they be able to stop the run game of the Detroit Lions and get Jared Goff uncomfortable and off his spot? Because let's face it, if it wasn't for the weird Baker Mayfield fumble by Tampa Bay, and if Jaden Daniels did not break that incredible tackle that the Tampa Bay defensive tackle had him wrapped up on fourth down, Jaden Daniels was able to dive for the first down, chew out the rest of the clock, and allow Zane Gonzalez to hit that game-winning field goal. If Jaden Daniels does not get that first down, the question becomes, does Tampa Bay drive down the field? Do they go to overtime? Does Tampa Bay win it? I don't know. I like this Commanders team. I like the fact that even though they have a defensive minded head coach in Dan Quinn, he was very aggressive and, very Dan Campbell like, if you will, going forward on all these fourth downs in that wild card round matchup against Tampa Bay. I think Dan Quinn and the Commanders know what needs to be done against the Lions. You need to get the lead early. You need to put pressure on Jared Goff, and you need to sustain drives. In the end, Washington is a tough team. It did sound like there was a lot of Washington fans that traveled to Tampa Bay, but this is a very young team, and I don't know, with this being their first trip going to Detroit, if they're going to be able to handle the crowd noise. I like the Lions here. I think the Commanders do keep it close. They battle to the end. I'll take the Commanders plus the points at 9.5. Then, Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock in the city of brotherly love, without Michaels, or not Al Michaels, excuse me, Mike Chirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark on the sideline in Philadelphia for a rematch of Week 12. Sunday Night Football, Rams at Eagles. This one, though, would specifically be in Philadelphia. Of course, the last one was in LA. It was a nick and tuck game in the first half, and then Saquon Barkley and that Eagles offensive line ran over the Rams in the second half. Of course, there's a lot of drama out there in Philadelphia with, Jalen Hurts obviously not playing well in the wild card round. Started out the game 6 for 6, really struggled in the second half, but made a key throw to Dallas Goedert that led to the touchdown. Of course, A.J. Brown with only the one catch for 3 yards, reading a book on the sideline. And you added that the defense forced 3 turnovers. And there's a lot of feeling out there that, again, people are doubting Philadelphia. They're doubting my Eagles. They're doubting head coach Nick Sirianni. They're doubting this team. And this year, it's sort of been the theme for the Eagles. Every time somebody thinks that this team, barely won, or they struggled, or they've gone off the rails, or that Nick Sirianni should be fired, this team bounces back. And I think this team hears the noise. They know they did not play their best in the wild card round, but their defense showed up. I think the Rams, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Sean McVay, that combination, I think with a second chance at Philadelphia, they're going to have more success than the first game they had against Vic Fangio's defense. But I think that my Eagles offense is going to play better than what they played with in the wild card round against the Packers. I think that will be the difference. I also think the Eagles' defensive line, led by, of course, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Bryce Up, Nolan Smith. I think those guys and the combination of that big offensive line with Jordan Malaya, Wayne Dickerson, Cam Burgess, Mekhi Becton, Lane Johnson, that O line D line combination is so significantly better than Minnesota, as well as the Rams, that I don't think the Rams are going to be able to get the pass rush like they got against the Vikings on Monday night when they had 9 sacks. So I'll take my Eagles to win. I will take them to cover by 6.5. I think they win by a touchdown. And then we get to the 6:30 game on CBS. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, 2 versus 3 in the AFC. The winner, I think, earns the right to go to Arrowhead to take on the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, or if Houston pulls off one of the upsets of the past decade, then they would play to win the right to host Houston in the AFC Championship game. But I do not understand why the Bills are 1.5 point dogs in this game. I get it. Week 4, September 29th, my birthday, Sunday Night Football, 35-10. The Ravens ran over the Buffalo Bills. But this Bills team is a different team. And while the Ravens are a different team, and they have been rolling as of late, and they have fixed their defense, as we've seen in the back half of the year, with them moving Kyle Hamilton more to that traditional safety role. I think Josh Allen at home, unlike what happened against Joe Burrow a couple years ago, I think Buffalo knows that. I think this Buffalo team is better. I think they will commit to the run more. And I think this is going to be a game of possessions. I don't think this is going to be a wild, entertaining, Allen versus Jackson shootout. I think this is going to come down to both quarterbacks are going to play well. Both quarterbacks, obviously, excuse me, have great running games. It's going to come down to who can execute the most in the red zone, getting touchdowns, not field goals, and getting the most out of their possessions, and which defense can hold consecutive stops, giving their offense potentially a chance. I think in the NFL playoffs, more so than the regular season, home field advantage, the coldness, the wildness of the fans, the intensity, all of it matters more. And I think, listen, we've been waiting for this rematch since week 11, since the Bills were the one team to knock off the Kansas City Chiefs this year. I think we get it as this duels of potential MVPs, which, to be honest with you, I would not be mad in the slightest if they gave co-MVPs to Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. But I think in the end, there will be voter fatigue. My guess is Josh Allen probably wins it. But at the end of the day here, I like the Bills. I think +1.5. I think they get it. I think that's disrespectful. Buffalo will be motivated by that. They will win the game. So, my best bets for the divisional round of the 2024 NFL season are: I like Kansas City to cover the 8.5 against Houston. I'll take the Commanders +9.5 against the Lions, but I do like the Lions to win outright. I like Philly covering the 6.5 against the Rams, and I like Buffalo at home getting 1.5. I think they win outright at home against Baltimore. That will set up both number 2 and number 1 seeds in the AFC and NFC. Buffalo at Kansas City, Philadelphia at Detroit for the AFC and NFC championship games. Like that clip from the Brands World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brands World podcast right here on YouTube.